Okay, we have a problem called encryption, and it's a medium problem, the difficulty, and max score is 30. So basically, they will give you a string, and you need to encrypt it and output the encrypted version based on specific rules. And it's not that easy, to be honest. It took me some time to solve. And so what you need to do is, when they give you a string, you need to output a matrix that represents the encrypted version. And to calculate the number of row and columns to that matrix, you need to take the square root of the length of the string and the basically by this formula. So this is the floor of the square root of the length of the string, and this is the ceiling of the square root of the length of the string, and the rows and the row and the column length should be between them. And I think if we took a look at the examples, everything will be okay. And they told you they give you an example here that they will give you a string with white spaces, so you need to remove the white spaces between the words and the start and in the start and the end, but they already do that for you. So the input will be, you take a look at example, something like this. So this is have a nice day, but without white spaces. So you can do that, but they will do that for you. So for this, let's just try to observe the samples they give us. So have a nice day. To encrypt it, uh, first thing, the length of this string is 12. The square root of 12 is 3 point, I think, 14. So it's between 3 and 4. So the number of rows is 3. The number of columns is 4. So this is how the matrix will look like. So have a Nike e-day. And the output will be the each column separated by spaces. So the first column is H, A, and V. So H, N, and V. And the second column is A and D, V, I, A, and E, C, Y. So that's why this is the shape of the output. You take each column separated by white spaces. And let's look at the second example. So feed the dog. So the length is 10. The square root of 10 is between 3 and 4. So the number of rows are 3. The number of columns are 4. So this is how the matrix will look like. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not that good at math. I'm not sure if matrix should be the exact number of rows and columns, but it's just like a box of strings of characters. So anyway, so this is how the matrix, I will just keep calling that, look like. So because if you think about it, we are splitting. This is how I came up with the solution. So I will split the string by the number of columns. So I will have an array called the chunks. We'll store the feed, the with D and OG for this example. And what I will do after storing them, I will just get each character from each chunk and print it as a column. So this is my solution. What it would be like. So I will have an array after I split this string like this. Array contains feed, the, and OG, and I will loop to it. So this is 2 loops, by the way, and I will get the first character, then the second character, then the third, then the fourth. So by the number of the columns. Because if you think about it, the maximum number of each, the maximum length of each, the maximum length of each string will be outputted here. If you forget about, so if you consider each one of them as a separate string, is the number of rows, but you need to loop at the number of columns, which is usually bigger if you take a look at this, the condition. So yeah. And they give us this final example. So the square root, this is 8 length, the length is 8. And if you take the square root, it's between 2 and 3. And there is another condition written here. So and you can read it, but my solution won't depend on this because I will always loop on the number of columns. So I don't care about the rows. So It's between 2 and 3, but 2 and 3 is 6, which is less than 8, so we'll use 3 times 3. It doesn't matter. Maybe if you solve it in another way, it will matter, but in my case, it won't. So this, if you split them by the number of columns, so 3 characters for each chunk, we will have chai, LLO, LLO, UT, and this is the first column. So C, LU, H, LT, OY. So this is how it's just an implementation. It's not that it's not an interesting thing. So I'll just this is the solution. I think I removed it. So I will go to VS Code and remove it as well. I will just write it and try to explain it. But just let me make sure you are seeing what I am showing you. Yeah, okay, you are. So what is the name of the function? I will just copy it and put it here. First thing I will do, just to make sure, so I will just remove the empty spaces between the start and the end. So just, yeah. So and I need, if you are using JavaScript, you need if you need the autocomplete, you just give it an empty default value. I will remove it, but so s equal s dot trim. This is how you remove white spaces from the end and the start. Between the words, they already did that for you. So the first thing I will calculate is the root, which is easy. So math dot root, the dot square root, sorry, to the s dot length. Okay, and the second thing is the columns. So math dot ceiling, math dot ceiling to the root. And I would now you will understand why I will not use the rows, but just okay. I will just continue. So I will create an array called chunks, empty array, and I will loop for let I equal to 0, and I is less than s dot length, original length of the string, the length of the string. And I will be a plus equal. I won't just plus it by 1. I will plus it with the number of the columns, because I want to split the strings by the number of columns. So what I will do, I will top chunks dot push, and so s dot substring. I will start from I. So first time it will be. I will just show you. Show columns plus I, and I will put chunks here after the for loop. So I will show you what this will do. So let's go and take an example from them. So chill out. So I'm splitting. Sorry. So I'm splitting the array by the number of columns. So here we have 3 columns. So I will just show you. Columns. I'm using Waka.js, by the way. This blue number is the result, it's the evaluated value. So this is the chunks, and this is the number of columns. And if you take a look, this is the matrix they show us. So I'm representing that by this array, by the chunks array. So this is the first row, the second row, the third row. And what I need to do after this, it's pretty simple. So I will just I will define a string, which is an empty string. I think you can do this. It's prettier. And I will loop by the number of columns. So to do this, you can do a normal for loop, but I will do something new. So I will create an empty array with a length of the columns, and for each. So the first argument in the callback is the value for each index, but I don't care about that. Usually you put underscore, and I care about the index. And what I will do, and I will then, okay, so for each column, we have go and get the index that represents that column from each chunk. So another for loop. So chunks dot for each. So here I will put the I care about the value, so I don't care about the index. So what I will do, so string plus equal. No, to be honest, I don't think I care about anything here. So I'll just loop. No, I care. It's okay. For each chunk, I just said for each chunk, get the I, which represents the column in it. So I will just put it here. And as you can see, we have undefined. But I will fix that, because if you think, I started with this example to show you that. So this is three characters, and here is only two. So when you reach the third character of index 2 and try to get it from the third element, it will return undefined. And in JavaScript, when you concat string with undefined, it will convert the undefined type to string and return undefined. So it's easy to fix this. Just wrap this with an expression, parentheses, and or, which if this kind of evaluates to something falsy, in case undefined is falsy, just put empty string. And after you put these, so here is just concatenating characters. So after you do this, after the second loop, just concat an empty space. So as you can see, we have the output. So C from the first character, from the first chunk, sorry, and L from the second chunk, and U from the third chunk, and then H, L, T, correct? Then only I and O. So here is undefined, and I'm replacing undefined with an empty string. So that's why we don't need the rows. And basically, I'll just return the string. Oh, I just took a screenshot. I hope you got the idea. I'll remove this. I know I'm just like, sounds very nervous. But anyway, so let me go and submit it. So I think everything is fine. So let me run the code and try to submit it. Okay, and submit the code. This is 30 points, which is like solving 3 easy questions, which is nice. But I think if you look into so yeah, everything is fine. We got 30 points. But I think if you look into the discussion, you will find people solving this in Python like in one loop. But I'm pretty sure behind the scenes, it maybe they are using the range function inside the loop. So to be honest, I'm not sure. So their solution sounds very interesting, and mine sounds like workaround. But anyway, thank you.